All right, are we ready to go, Karen?
Yes.
All right. Okay, it's 2:00. I'd like to call the meeting to order and welcome everybody to the March 8th, 2021 regular council meeting. Two things before I start. I'd like to, Mayor Lennox has been under the weather a little bit, and that's why I'm chairing the meeting today. And we hope that he's feeling better and on the road to recovery. I'm sure he's watching in and keeping an eye on us as we go here today. And the other thing I'd like to do is on behalf of the mayor and council, I'd like to acknowledge and recognize that today is International Women's Day. So with that being said, the adoption of the agenda, Councillor Burke, I'd like to ask Councillor Burke to move, Councillor Hearn to second, that the agenda for this, that the agenda and the supplementary agenda for the March 8th, 2021 regular meeting of council be accepted and passed. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. Councillor Burke.
No.
Councillor Hearn.
No.
Councillor McCabe.
None.
And I do have a conflict in regards to bylaw 026-21. So Karen, you'll note that.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So we will now recess to move into the public meeting. I'd ask Councillor Hearn to move and Councillor McCabe to second, that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Wellington North recess the March 8th, 2021 regular meeting of council for the purposes of holding a public meeting under the Planning Act. Brian Black and Vicky Moore, minor variance and housekeeping regarding secondary units. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. We are now in the Committee of Adjustment. We will call the meeting to order at 2:02. And then once again, is there any pecuniary interest? Councillor Burke?
No.
Councillor Hearn?
No.
Councillor McCabe?
No.
All right. Moving to the minutes of the previous meeting, I'll ask that Councillor McCabe move and Councillor Burke second, that the Committee of Adjustment meeting minutes of January 25th, 2021, A01/21 be adopted as presented. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. So the application A03/21, Brian Black and Vicky Moore. The location of the subject property is described as Part Lot 10, Concession 8, Registered Plan 60R3244, Part 1, and is municipally known as 9049 Wellington Road 16. The property is approximately 0.36 hectares in size, and the location of the property is shown in the attached map. The purpose and effect of the application is to provide relief from the minimum front yard setback for an accessory structure. The applicants are proposing to construct a 66.9 square meter garage, 9.14 meters from the front lot line. Other variances may be considered where deemed appropriate. How was notice for this meeting provided?
Notices were mailed to the property owners within 60 meters of the subject property, as well as to applicable agencies, and signage was posted on the property on February 23rd, 2021.
Thank you, Karen. And next we have a presentation by Matthew, our planner. Is Matthew on? Did I see he's here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
Yeah,
Matthew. It's
Perfect, thank you. And through you, Chair, so before you today is a minor variance application to provide relief from.
Hold it, Matthew. Something's not right.
We can't hear you very well.
We can't hear you.
Okay.
You sound like Darth Vader.
Now. Still no?
No.
Still no?
That's better.
Yep, that's better.
Yeah, we're working?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so let me just get back to that. Sorry about that. So thank you, and through you, Chair, before you today is a minor variance application to provide relief from the minimum front yard setback. The applicant is proposing to construct a 720 square foot garage located at 30 feet from the front lot line, whereas the bylaw requires a minimum of 60 feet from a 60-foot front yard setback. The applicants have indicated that the required 60 feet location would not be viable given that the location of the house, as well as the lot lines and setback requirements and the drilled well all come into conflict. And with that said, planning staff have no concerns with the application as the request is minor, meets the intent of the official plan and zoning bylaw, and I welcome any questions.
All right. Is there any questions? Seeing none. Was there any correspondence received in this matter?
Correspondence was received from the Grand River Conservation Authority with no objection. That's listed on the agenda. There's no further correspondence received.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, Chair, just to note that Mr. Black is in the meeting now.
Okay, thank you. Anyone wishing to be notified of the decision must submit a written request to the Secretary Treasurer. Now I'd like to open the floors from the public or the applicant. Mr. Black, would you like to speak on this? You're on mute, Mr. Black.
Oh,
There we
sorry,
go.
there's the button.
There we go.
No, just thank you very much for hearing the application, and I'd be happy to answer any questions if anyone did have any.
Okay, thank you. Anybody from the committee have any questions or comments?
Just before we do that, I think I need to move through and ask people on the line. Mr. Seddon, are you here to speak to this matter? Mr. Sedgwick?
No.
Okay. Mr. Milner? Kay Woods, are you here to speak to the issue? Mr. Cluj, are you here to speak to the issue?
No, I'm not.
Thank you. Michelle Brown, are you here to speak to the issue? Penny, are you here to speak to the issue?
No, I'm not.
Thank you. S. Fowley, are you here to speak to the issue? Steve, are you here to speak to the issue?
No, I'm not.
Thank you. Go ahead.
All right, so I guess in regards to the decision, Karen, we just need to read the recommendation. Is that correct?
Yes, there's no, we don't need to have a mover or seconder, no.
Okay. So that minor variance applied for an application A03/21 for the property described as Part Lot 10, Concession 8, Registered Plan 60R 3244, Part 1, and is municipally known as 9049 Wellington Road 16 to provide the following relief. One, that A, that a reduced minimum front yard setback for an accessory structure of 9.14 meters, 30 feet be permitted, whereas the bylaw requires 18.3 meters, 60 feet. So that's all we need in regards to that, Karen.
Yeah, you need to see a show of hands.
Okay, show of hands in support. Okay.
Carrie?
Okay, and I guess the next thing is adjournment. Get Councillor Hearn to move and Councillor Burke to second, that the Committee of Adjustment meeting of March 8th, 2021 be adjourned at 2:11 p.m. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Oh, I need to get all my paperwork here that Karen supplied me in order.
At the meeting with the paper, right?
All right. Next, I want to call to order the public meeting at 2:12 p.m. I'll ask for any disclosure of pecuniary interest. Councillor McCabe,
None.
Councillor Hearn,
No, none.
Councillor Burke,
No.
and I don't have any either. The owner's applicant, Township of Wellington North, the proposed amendment affects all lands in the Township of Wellington North. The purpose and effect of the township initiated amendment to the comprehensive zoning bylaw is to introduce regulations to permit additional dwelling units to be located within a principal dwelling and/or within an accessory structure that is located on the same lot as a principal dwelling. These changes are being proposed in response to provincial legislation Bill 108, More Homes, More Choices Act 2019. This legislation requires that municipalities allow opportunities for additional dwelling units as a right. It says as a right. How was notice provided?
Notice was posted in the February 11th, 2021 edition of the Wellington Advertiser and mailed to the applicable agencies on February 4th, 2021.
All right, thank you. And next, I'd like to ask Linda Redmond for her report. Linda.
Thank you, Councillor Yake. So first of all, I just need to give credit where credit is due. This is actually Michelle and Ascente's work. I just edited it and made some tweaks to it, but essentially Michelle had completed this prior to her departure. So I'm here more as a person to answer questions, but I'll just give a quick overview of what the changes represent. So I think the introduction explains exactly what this is about. This amending bylaw will bring the township zoning bylaw into conformity with the county official plan, which has recently updated their policies to include the second and third unit provisions. And it also brings it into conformity with provincial legislation, specifically the Bill 108 More Homes, More Choices Act. Some of the highlights of this is that this bylaw is not appealable as per the act. Once it's in place, it cannot be appealed. However, any amending bylaws coming forward after this that are outside of this change are appealable. Just want to make that clear. They would follow the same course. A couple items that I would like well is that provisions do address water and sewage capacity, that if there isn't, that has to be available for any additional units. It's very important. And also parking, which is always a big deal. So the provisions address parking, that parking has to be able to be provided legally for any additional unit as well. So I'm just going to briefly go through the actual bylaw and tell you how it's addressing matters. So first thing is there's a new definition being introduced that explains an attached unit and a detached unit. So you're allowed one additional unit within an existing single-family dwelling, semi-detached dwelling, or street townhouse unit, provided it can meet parking, sewage capacity, setback, all the matters that need to be addressed that way. But there's also provisions to allow us an additional unit in a detached structure in addition to. So potentially you could have three units on one property. Again, those provisions also include parking, sewage capacity, or sewage opportunities for sewage. So because we do allow these units rural residential lots. So as long as their septic and well can accommodate an additional unit, that's the requirement. The provisions also basically go through the bylaw and just change the wording of, we've changed converted dwelling, which was sort of the old term, and we've changed that to additional dwelling unit because that's the new term. Then there's provisions that are introduced again that outline what the requirements are to allow the units. So again, parking, sewage capacity, separate entrance, what type of building it can be located in, driveway access. So it breaks it down further, the 6.292 section. Then we get into where it's permitted. So we had to add provisions to allow it under certain zoning categories. So it's allowed in any zoning category that permits a single family dwelling, a semi-detached dwelling, and a street townhouse dwelling. It's also permitted in out in the country on the what we call the reduced egg lots, where you have your 2-acre lot with your house. And it's also permitted on a farm parcel, but that was already permitted. So a second house is always permitted as of right. So what we've done there is we've nailed down that you can only have one additional unit. So you can't have 2 houses on a farm and then have an additional unit in each house and then an additional unit in a garage. You can only have the one. So we've put provisions in to sort of regulate that. And that's pretty much it. So I'm here to answer any questions.
All right. Thank you, Linda. Was there any correspondence received?
Yes, we've received correspondence from Saugeen Conservation Authority and the Grand River Conservation Authority with no objections.
All right, thank you. The bylaw will be considered at the regular council meeting following the public meeting. Persons wishing notice of the passing of the bylaw must submit a written request. I'll open the floor for any questions or comments from the public.
No one registered to speak, Dan.
Nobody registered, all right. Questions or comments from council? Anybody have any questions or comments?
I don't.
Mike?
Through you, Councillor Yake, I just wanted to, as council's considering the bylaw, Councillor Yake, yourself and myself and our economic development officer were part of a meeting on Friday. One of the questions that came up, it was with one of our major employers in the community, and the continuing conversation that we hear from them is, what are we doing to try and introduce attainable housing or more attainable housing within our community? I think what is being proposed by Linda and the county planning department in conjunction with Darren, this is just another tool in the toolbox to allow another form of housing in our community to create that mix and create those opportunities for more attainable housing. So it's just another factor, I think, as council is considering the bylaw. This is something, another tool in the toolbox, I guess I would say, around the attainable housing piece that we've been working on for a number of years. So this is another step in that direction.
Yeah, thank you, Mike, for adding that in. No questions, no other questions or comments? No? All right. All right. I'd like to ask Counselor Burke to move and Counselor McCabe to second that the public meeting of March 8th, 2021 be adjourned at 2:20 PM. All in favor? Carried. Resuming the regular council meeting, I'll ask Counselor McCabe to move and Counselor Hearn to second that the Council of the Corporation of Wellington North resume the March 8th, 2021 regular meeting of council at 2:21 PM. All in favor? Carried. All right. Passage of bylaws arising from the public meeting. I'll ask Counselor Burke to move, Counselor Hearn to second that that bylaw number 2024-20 being a bylaw to amend bylaw 66-01 being a bylaw for the Township of Wellington North be read a first, second, and third time and enacted. This is in regards to the housekeeping of secondary units. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Adoption of minutes. The adoption of minutes of council and public meeting. I'll ask Counselor Hearn to move and Counselor Burke to second that the minutes of the regular meeting of council and the public meeting held on February 22nd, 2021 be adopted and circulated. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Business arising from the minutes. There was a notice of motion was brought forward by Counselor McCabe at the February 22nd, 2021 regular council meeting that asked, at the regular council meeting, I'll ask Counselor McCabe to move and Counselor Burke to second that council of the Corporation of the Township of Wellington North direct staff to prepare a report on a municipal program of hunting nuisance coyotes on private property. Do we vote on this then, Karen? Mike?
Councillor Yake, I would just suggest, yeah, you open it up for conversation. The motion is on the floor at this point. So
Okay.
yeah, I know that Councillor McCabe raised it, but this would be an opportunity for other councillors to provide input as it related to the motion.
Okay.
Or Councillor McCabe to highlight the, his thinking around the notice of motion.
Yeah, okay. Counselor McCabe, would you like to start?
Sure. Again, like I had said in our last meeting, there was a number of people have called, called and emailed me with regards to coyotes on their property coming right up close to their outbuildings and actually a frozen pond that was being used as a skating rink. And I just wanted to know what we had in mind as a municipality to deal with this, or do we deal with it, or how do we deal with it? I guess was the thinking behind this, Councillor Yake.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Counselor Burke?
So the way the motion reads is that the municipal program would be for just hunting. Would we look at other possible ways? I'm just referring to a communication that I think we all received. Or is this just strictly to look at the hunting to remove them from property?
I think I was kind of more after the hunting end of it. If it can be done humanely, I'm not sure how that is, but yeah, we all got that email as well. And yeah, that's a delicate balance, I guess, in the ecosystem with the coyotes in part of the food chain. But yeah, I was more or less just with the hunting of it. But if there is alternative ways, as you've mentioned, Councillor Burke, I'm all ears to hear what we can do.
So I would suggest that the report is going to give you some background on what other municipalities are doing. And some of it is going to be education. Sometimes it's hunting. So the report would include all of that.
Okay,
Okay, thank you, Karen. Is that okay, Counselor McCabe, that we let staff put that report together with various options, alternatives, methods, what other municipalities are doing?
yep, I would be most agreeable to that.
Counselor Hearn?
I saw Councillor Burke's hand up too, but so I'll go ahead. Just two things, and this isn't commenting on the motion. But I'm hoping that in the report, we could include whether there's an increase in any livestock claims, I guess in the recent history. And number two, as part of the report, I know the County of Dufferin has a nuisance coyote bylaw, and in one of my other hats, I've had a lot of contact knowledge about that. And I know a lot of the parties that worked with MNRF and other people to try and make that happen. So I'm just wondering whether I can connect staff to some of those key people that recently worked on that bylaw as part of your report.
You mean County of Dufferin staff? I've reached out to them and I've got their bylaw. Maybe I'm misunderstanding.
There were some parties that came to the municipality and worked on that to try and work with the county to work that through.
Sure, yeah, any help?
Without naming names, which I don't want to do.
No naming names. So.
All right. Counselor Burke, I thought I saw your hand.
Yeah, so are we just going to take these options and do it as staff direction, or does this recommendation need to be amended?
No, I'm going to include the other options in terms of public education. I'll include the any increase in livestock claims. So I'm just making notes. So I will include all of those. When the report comes, I think then it'll be another motion as to whether you want us to draft a bylaw and look at a program or education, or, you know, you'll have to weigh the options then.
The correspondence.
So we don't need,
Go ahead, Sherry, sorry.
so we don't need to amend this recommendation. All of those answers are going to come back in the report, but it's going to be through staff direction, not this recommendation, because this recommendation says hunting.
Yeah, so under that in the minutes, it'll be say, and staff were further directed to include, you know, other options, including, you know, whatever, education, the education piece and things like that. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Karen, the correspondence that we received, that we all received here on the weekend was quite lengthy and seemed to be quite in depth in regards to knowledge of the issue with coyotes. So will that be taken into account as well? Okay.
For sure. Yep.
All right. Very good. Thank you. Anything else on that? So I guess we'll a report in a couple meetings from now, Karen, is that?
Yep, you just need to call the vote. And yeah, I will try. I've already started some background on it. I will try and have it ready for the March 22nd meeting.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
So all in favor of that moving forward in that way? Carried. Thank you. So you've got your what you need to do there, Karen? Okay. Next, we're moving on to items for consideration. What would is there anybody who would like anything in particular pulled out?
It's gonna be a
No,
quick
it's
meeting,
me.
man.
You guys are taking it pretty easy.
Big old rubber stamp.
Nothing?
I'm actually good.
Counselor Hearn.
Yes, I think we should, oh, I can't even find it now, pull. Sorry, 6A.
Okay. All right.
But just because we had a supplementary agenda, let's be sure that we have the correct report that you're wanting. 6A is the Arthur floor report, the arena floor
That's
report. Yeah, thank you. 6A.
Anything else?
3A?
3A.
And that is the economic development Wellington North Farmers
Yes,
Market
please.
report. Thank you.
And let's do 1C.
Let's see.
Aquatics Advisory Committee.
Thank you.
All right. I don't have anything. I think that looks like about it, Karen.
Yep.
I need Councillor Burke to move and Councillor McCabe to second that all items listed under items for consideration on the March 8th, 2021 council agenda, with the exception of those items identified for separate discussion, be approved and the recommendations therein be adopted. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. All right.
Can I just explain, sorry, Acting Mayor Yake, Mr. Martin, I know that you're sitting in, listening to the meeting. So your bylaw has, it's been, your report has been approved. The bylaw will be passed later in the meeting and you're welcome to stay. But they've dealt with your item.
All right. Thank you, Karen. All right, 1C. Councillor Burke.
Yeah, so that was me. We are moving forward quite nicely at the advisory committee level. And I just wanted to highlight this because there were several recommendations that did go to the rec department, and that we had a really good meeting. We've sort of broken our small committee out into even smaller bits to start fundraising for the pool. There was a lot of really good discussions, some really good ideas. Stay tuned. The Lions Club also have some great fundraising events moving forward. And just also wanted to remind everybody that on the 23rd is the Lions, Mount Forest Lions Club, a drive-through chicken barbecue. So we always know that the Lions Club is good to put back some of those funds to our community. So I wanted to highlight that as well.
All right, Councillor Burke, thank you. Councillor McCabe.
Sorry, what date was that again, Sherry? I just missed that.
It's March the 23rd, and you have to have advance tickets because it works on a pickup time. There's a pickup schedule, and it runs on a half hour.
Okay, thank you.
And the location, Councillor Burke?
At the sports complex here in Mount Forest.
Any other questions in regards to that?
You just need to
Seeing none.
you need to get a mover and seconder.
Okay, I'll ask Councillor Burke to move and Councillor Hearn to second. Is this the minutes, the recommendations about the minutes, right, Karen? Yeah. The recommendation that Council of the Corporation of the Township of Wellington North received the minutes of the Mount Forest Aquatics Ad Hoc Advisory Committee meeting held on February 23rd, 2021. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. 3A. Councillor Burke, did you want to speak to this one?
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight this, report because it's something that our residents always look forward to is the Wellington North Farmers Market. So glad to see that it's moving forward. The project's moving forward again this year. Looks like we may or may not have to have some COVID-19 processes again in place. But as I said, I just wanted to highlight the report and thank Dale for keeping it moving. Yeah.
All right, any questions, comments? I'd like to ask Councillor Hearn to move and Councillor McCabe to second that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Wellington North receive the Economic Development Officer Wellington North Farmers Market Report EDO 2021-008. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And moving on to operations, 6A. Lisa, I think you brought that forward.
I did, and I was more hoping that Chair McCabe could speak to it, but while I have the floor, I'll just state that this is a perfect opportunity while the ice is out to make some pretty vital improvements in the Arthur Arena, preparing for the time when we can fully utilize the arena and some of our restrictions are gone. So I will turn that over to Chair McCabe.
All right, thank you, Lisa. Councillor McCabe.
Through you, Dan, and thanks, Lisa. Yeah, this is a great opportunity, one that's been in the works for quite a while and on our books for quite a while as well. And it's nice to have a local contractor that's going to be doing the work, and it is under budget. And there are going to be some extras that this contractor is going to throw in as well that were not part of the original, I guess, design or some, I guess you could say, but yeah, it's a great opportunity. It's a local contractor, and yeah, we're getting it done while no one else can use it. And we have talked to Arthur Lacrosse, and they are in favor of this as well. So it's kind of a nice all-around win-win-win, so to speak.
All right. Thank you.
But I'm happy to take any questions.
All right. Anybody else? Any comments? Councillor Burke.
Yeah, so I too am glad that this is moving forward. I just have one question, and it notes that Arthur Lacrosse has been contacted. Should their season have some type of opportunity later on, do we know what accommodations or where they may play?
I'll pass that on to Matt.
Okay.
Matt.
Yep, and through you, Chair Yake, I would say, and Tom would know better than me, but they've been talked to, and they're coming up to Mount Forest, and I think they're excited about that. But I would defer to Tom. Tom could give a comment.
Yeah, through your Yake, yeah, I have talked to Lacrosse. They are happy to come to Mount Forest. We've prepared the floor here already for them. So whenever they want to start construction, Lacrosse will move to Mount Forest.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor McCabe.
I should add, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the hard work that the staff has done, Matt and Tom, in getting this secured. So I wanted to thank them for that, and thanks for pushing it through. And it's going to be a great job to get done.
Great.
Matt,
Yeah, and through you, Counselor Yake, it's mainly Tom and Mandy who do most of the work, so that's all I would say. But we've got a good contractor who's gonna do good by us, so that's, anyway, and getting it approved this early is gonna be a good thing.
all right. Thank you, Matt. Councillor McCabe.
Sorry, I just have one, just when you said that, Matt, have you heard of a start date or anything like that at all?
Yep, through you, Counselor McCabe. I think we're talking, they're gonna be done, I'm gonna say by the end of July.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
But the drop dead date is September 1st. That's what we're talking as a drop dead date, but anyway, no, I think they've got it all figured out. And like I say, if council approves it today, that helps, you know, with the flow of things, if you will.
Sure. All right. Anything else? No? Okay, I'd like Councillor McCabe to move, seconded by Councillor Burke, that Council of the Corporation of the Township of Wellington North receive report OPS 2021-014, award for the replacement of the ice-making piping within the floor of the Arthur and Area Community Center. And further, that council award this project to H-By Construction at an estimated cost of $1,078,000 plus applicable taxes. And further, that council waive the requirement for a competitive process as detailed within the township's purchasing and procurement policy. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much, everybody. That's it for items for consideration. Notice of motion. Anybody have a notice of motion?
I don't.
No? Okay. Community group meeting reports. Anybody have anything to report? Councillor Hearn?
Not so much a report. I have a whole slew of meetings coming up in the next week, but I just wanted to send maybe an update on the connecting link upgrades in Arthur and what's going on there. The BIA, of course, has been working pretty hard on that, but I just wanted to make a special mention of Paula Coffey, the plumber's wife. She has been working pretty hard on that and dealing with emails almost on a daily basis to get some things like the street lights correct that will be in the curb extension. One of her projects is also the outdoor gym. And I just wanted to say thank you to Paula. She doesn't like awards, but I think a thank you is in order. She's just been working so hard every day, and it's stuff that has to be done. But thanks to Paula.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Councillor Hearn. Matt?
Yep, and thank you, Chair McCabe. Yeah, sorry, my apologies. But yeah, hopefully the plan is to get the RFP or the RFT, I guess, the request for proposal out by this week. It might be next week, but we're working through it, and I think BM Ross has been engaged well with the BIA. So I think BM Ross understands well kind of what the BIA wants.
Perfect. Thank you. Councillor Hearn?
Yes, BM Ross has been working very well with the BIA, answering all of our questions. I'm very pleased.
Very good. Excellent. I just wanted to give a last meeting, I'd given a little report in regards to what was going on at the hospital. I think the day after our meeting, we were invited to take a tour of the site as it is. And so we toured the new emergency area and the ambulatory care addition. And that's the first time I've been in the building since they've started construction, but it is going to be one nice addition to that hospital and to all our healthcare needs here in our community. So we are looking forward to getting it open, and as spring starts to come in here, then we're going to get closer to that. But it is going to be one really nice addition. So I'm looking forward to that. I know we all are. Okay. Bylaws. I guess we're on to bylaws. Councillor Burke, I will ask to move, and Councillor McCabe to second, that bylaw number 023-21, 02521, and 02721
Correct, yes.
be read a first, second, and third time and enacted. Any questions?
I'm sorry, Miss, who seconded that?
I think it was Councillor McCabe.
Yeah, sorry.
Be read a first, second, third time and enacted. All in favor? Carried. So the other bylaw, Karen, where do we go with that?
Yeah, so you've declared a pecuniary interest, so you're going to shut your camera and microphone on. Councillor Burke is going to assume the chair position, and she will read that bylaw with Councillor McCabe and Hearn moving and seconding. And once that's read and passed, then you can turn your microphone and camera back on.
Okay. How will I know?
You should be able to hear us, right?
Able to hear us.
Okay.
Okay, I think he's,
Okay.
yeah. Mhm.
So do I read the whole bylaw, Karen?
You just read just what he had read. You'll read the bylaw number 02621. Be read the first, second, and third time after you get your mover and seconder. And there's only 2 left, so take your pick.
Yeah. So moved by Steve and seconded by Lisa.
And do you have the resolution in front
And
of you?
that is bylaw. Do I have the resolution? Is that bylaw 2621?
Correct.
Yeah, so you want me to read that out?
Yeah, just read the resolution.
Okay, so bylaw number 26-21 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a development agreement PKLT 3SS Birmingham Street, part lot town of Mount Forest, Wellington North, PIN 71066-0029, LRO 61, and part lot 3, Wellington Street Plan, town of Mount Forest, as in RON 72223. Secondly, Wellington North PIN 0339 LRO 61.
Be read first, second, third time and enacted.
Okay. To be read a first, second, and third time and enacted. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Councillor Yake, you can come back now to finish chairing the meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Burke. All right. Councillor McCabe, did you have something else you wanted to add in regards to, Saugeen Connects.
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say that that is on today for Saugeen Connects for International Women's Day. So I just wanted to put that out there for all the great women that we work with and the two that are on this council as well, just to give them another shout out, but to give the Saugeen Connects meeting a shout out as well.
All right. Thank you very much, Councillor McCabe.
Thank you, Dan.
Well said. Well said. I guess we're on to the confirming bylaw that we're at. All right. I'll ask Councillor Burke, sorry.
Yes, so just to go back to minutes, meetings or notices and announcements. The Mount Forest Aquatic Ad Hoc Advisory Committee had to be changed from March the 23rd to the 30th, just so that everybody's aware, because that's the night of the chicken barbecue.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. So confirming bylaw, I'll ask Councillor Hearn to move and Councillor Burke to second. That bylaw number 028-21 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Wellington North at its regular meeting held on March 8th, 2021, be read a first, second, and third time and enacted. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. You'll see everybody has a list of upcoming meetings in March. There seems to be more meetings added to that list every month. So that's hopefully good news that there's lots of things going on in the community. But we're still hanging in there with Zoom. So Mike.
Councillor Yake, just for the rest of council's awareness, staff will reschedule the special meeting that we had established that we needed to cancel. Sorry about that. Probably within the next couple of weeks. So we'll get notice out around that as quickly as possible. Knowing that we want to move forward, although we have some time as it relates to the technical review of the water wastewater servicing piece, but just wanted to let council know that that's the intent, is to reschedule in the next few weeks.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Okay, I guess that takes us to adjournment. Councillor McCabe, moved by Councillor McCabe, seconded by Councillor Burke, that the regular council meeting of March 8th, 2021 be adjourned at 2:54 p.m. All in favor? Carried. Thank you, everybody, for your participation and making things go relatively smooth for myself today. And
Good job, Dan.
It was a good
Thank
job.
you.
Yes.
And hopefully everybody has a good day, and we'll see everybody soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good week.